to Kush News, the newscast of the African diaspora. I'm your anchor, Ochanda, daily bringing you the top stories from Africa and the Caribbean. Let's take a look at today's news on Monday, June 3rd, 2024. Let's go to South Africa, where election results have been revealed. The final tally from last week's national elections gave Ramaphosa's ruling African National Congress 159 seats in the 400-seat National Assembly. This is the lowest score by them in a general election ever. The vote share of the party dropped to just over 40% from the 57% it had won back in 2019. The opposition Democratic Alliance won 87 seats. Jacob Zuma's MK party 58, and the Economic Freedom Fighters of Julius Malema followed by several minority seats. The new parliament has to meet within 2 weeks. The first task will be to elect a president to form a new government. With no outright winner for the first time since post-apartheid democracy, the ANC will need to first seek outside support to secure Ramaphosa's re-election. Jacob Zuma is still barred from standing for parliament because of a conviction of contempt of court, so he is unlikely to be a coalition partner. But the former president and ANC member looks to be the biggest winner in the South Africa's election, as he is likely to have the most influence on what the ANC decides to do. One of Zuma's conditions for any discussions about coalition with the ANC is the departure of Cyril Ramaphosa. Jacob Zuma's party also is threatening to boycott the new parliament. The Democratic Alliance is the biggest opposition winner in terms of numbers. It is highly unlikely to find a common ground with a coalition with the ANC, though. The DA's leader, John Steenhuisen, says that he's keen to work with the ANC, but only if to head off what he calls a doomsday coalition between the ANC, the MK, and Julius Malema's EFF. He describes pledges in the MK and the EFF to nationalize privately owned land and undermine judicial independence as an all-out assault on the Constitution. For all these reasons, Julius Malema and his EFF appear as a quote-unquote safe partner for the ANC. Julius Malema has scored points by announcing from the outset that he is open for discussions. He says that he doesn't care who ends up becoming president. He told his voters, "We don't need to agree on everything before the 14-day deadline to form a coalition." For these reasons, analysts say that he's positioning himself to be the ANC's strongest ally. Those in South Africa, let us know, Juan, what do you think of the outcome of votes and the final tallies from this last week's election? Also, who did you vote for? And who do you see the ANC forming a coalition with? Is it the DA of John Steenhuisen? Is it the MK, Jacob Zuma's party, or Julius Malema's EFF? We want to know. Let's go to Kenya, where the fight against a controversial plant continues. Kenya's Defense Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale now says that the government has declared war against drug and substance abuse. Cabinet Secretary of Defense Duale assured that the government will fight Muguka with the same force and energy it has been using to combat the sale and consumption of illicit brew across the country. He stated that the Kenya Kwanza administration will not be selective in the fight against consumption of drugs and substance abuse as it continues to destroy lives of young people.
We are fighting alcohol in central Kenya, in Rift Valley, in western Kenya, in every part of our country. Kenya is one. So we must fight Muguka.
Similarly, the defense boss also urged the second in command to call for a meeting between the leaders and relevant stakeholders to discuss over the matter.
The emerging story of Muguka, I will ask the Deputy President in the next 2 weeks to call that conference, because he's the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, to call that conference, and we candidly discuss the effect, and we show evidence, the effect of Muguka to certain regions and certain communities.
Other leaders from the region also supported the ban.
Auze kwa kaunti yake, atengeneze kama juice, wakunye, watengeneze kama chakula wakule. Sisi kama watu wa Northeastern hatutaki miraa, hatutaki Muguka.
When I check my notebook, I don't remember which year miraa was not part of the cash crops we were taught by our class 6 JHS teachers. This theory of saying Mira is a cash crop is a fallacy, actually.
The Defense CS maintained that many Kenyans, including in the Muslim community, view muguka as a drug due to its detrimental health effects among users. Muguka is a fast-growing crop that can be a stress reliever, but can also cause anxiety, depression, trouble sleeping, and loss of energy, according to health experts. Those in Kenya, let us know your thoughts on the government declaring war on drug and substance abuse. Do you use muguka? Do you know anybody that does? Let us know on if you feel that it needs the declaration of war as it's perceived. Let's go to the Caribbean. And there we go to St. Kitts and Nevis, where they prepare for an intense hurricane season. Residents in St. Kitts and Nevis have been told to make the necessary preparations for this year's hurricane season. In an address on Saturday, Prime Minister Dr. Terrence Drew told islanders that forecasts predict the season will be above average and has characteristics for some of the most intense years on record.
This year, we face an unprecedented challenge that demands our collective attention and readiness. The two foremost institutions for weather forecasting, Colorado State University and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, have both issued stark predictions about the severity of this hurricane season. According to the NOAA, National Weather Service forecasters at the Climate Prediction Center, there is an 85% chance that this season will be above normal, with only a 10% chance of being near normal and a mere 5% chance of being below normal. NOAA's outlook for the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season, which spans from June 1st to November 30th, is alarming. They forecast a range of 17 to 25 named storms with winds of 39 miles per hour or higher. Of these, 8 to 13 are expected to become hurricanes with winds of 74 miles per hour or higher, including 4 to 7 major hurricanes defined as Category 3 or higher with winds of 111 miles per hour or greater. Forecasters have 70% confidence in these ranges, underscoring the seriousness of the situation. Similarly, Colorado State University's hurricane researchers also predicted an extremely active Atlantic hurricane season. This season bears the characteristics of some of the most intense years on record, including 1878, 1926, 1998, 2010, and 2020. These comparisons are a stark reminder of the potential devastation we may face. One of the significant factors contributing to this increase in hurricane intensity and frequency is climate change. The record warm sea surface temperatures are a direct result of our changing climate, creating more favorable conditions for the development of powerful storms. The science is clear. As temperature rises around the world, so too does the potential for more severe and destructive hurricanes. We cannot ignore the reality that climate change is not a distant threat, but a present danger, influencing our weather patterns and increasing the frequency and intensity of storms and hurricanes each year. The impacts are already being felt, and we must take this seriously. Nevertheless, while the predictions and forecasting capabilities of experts have improved over time, they cannot control where a hurricane will strike.
The 2024 Atlantic hurricane season started back on June 1st and is expected to run until November 30th. Global forecasters at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration said that there's a high chance for the hurricane season to be above normal. The region can be seen to expect 17 and 25 named storms with winds of 39 or higher miles per hour to develop. Of those storms, between 4 and 7 are expected to become major hurricanes. The Prime Minister noted that the active season could be attributed to climate change. He also said engagements between the government and private sector have begun in an effort to streamline preparation and response to these tropical cyclones. The Prime Minister added that he hopes that St. Kitts and Nevis remains a resilient nation and escapes impacts from storms. Those in St. Kitts and Nevis. Let us know on your thoughts on the Prime Minister announcing that you guys should be prepared for a more intense hurricane season. Let us know on if you are a business owner or if you are a consumer itself and you are a bit concerned about what's to come. When we come back, we'll have today's African proverb of the day. Don't go anywhere.
The government of Kenya with the United Nations Security Council is set to deploy 1,000 police officers to the country of Haiti. What are your thoughts on that? Get back.
New release of the Spring Summer Collection. Visit www.mccadero.com.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at today's African proverb of the day. It comes to us from Somali. What's going on, Somalia? And it reads, a beggar and a ruler know people best. Once again, a beggar and a ruler know people best. Somali proverb. What this is talking about is those two individuals, the ruler, whether an emperor, prime minister, president, a chief, and a beggar, sometimes a panhandler, or just somebody that's homeless. They know individuals the best because they often interact with people usually at their most heightened senses. For instance, with a ruler, a person that is the head of state of whatever jurisdiction, a village, a city, a town, a county, or a country. You know, they're being asked or inquired by individuals that either need help or want something or want that person or their government to make things better for the citizens. And so with a beggar, you know, they're probably meeting people more than often at a time where people are trying to avoid them. Either that or people are trying to do their best to feel sorry and pitiful for those individuals. So I'd say that, yeah, you know, this reigns true. I don't have any disagreements about this because more often than not, those two individuals are meeting a lot of people. They're meeting a lot of people at probably their most heightened of attitudes. Let me know your interpretation of today's African proverb of the day, as well as your thoughts, views, questions, comments, and concerns on the top stories. Don't forget to hit that like button. Make it your best friend. For Kush News on Kush Convos TV, I'm Ochanda. We'll see you soon.